Starts. When does the video start? The video starts now. Hi. Uh, there's always like a 10-second delay between the time I click start the movie, and you just never know when it's going to start. And sometimes you're like caught in the middle of doing something. Hi, everybody. Real quick, today's 8/29. It's my day 109 in my second year. And good morning to you, or good afternoon. Oh, I drink coffee all day long. They say coffee's kind of good for you. Of course, it only takes one study to say coffee's bad for you, and people go, it's bad, caffeine's bad. Growing up, they always said it would put hair on my chest, and of course it didn't. And I said it would stunt my growth, and of course it didn't. 6'1". Wish it stunted my growth. Anyway, yeah, I want to do a video today about hairs. And to begin, it's been almost 12 days since my last laser session. And if you go back and look at the video afterwards, I had just a really explosive laser session, which the tech called splotches. I was very splotchy. Hairs that had barricaded themselves deep underground, deep under the dermis, deep in the dermis, got zapped and kind of made bastards of themselves, going out in a blaze of glory. Looked like acne, and I still kind of have it somewhat. You see this one here. But anyway, again, as this is a transition blog, and I am here somewhat to educate and to help myself out, future me, and maybe someone who might be going through the process and wondering what it is like. I am at the stage now, about 12 days after that, the hairs go through different phases of being dormant. And, whether you do electrolysis or laser, you depending on where the growth cycle is, and I'm going to say anagen, and I don't think that's it, but you can Google it. But the hairs that are coming up now are, I don't know what phase of the life cycle they were in, but I'd say about 50% of them, if you took your finger and went like that across the hairs that are coming up, the black hairs, they will not come out on their own. Now, if you take your fingernail and kind of dig a little and use the friction of the finger against the skin, some of them might come out. If you take a pair of tweezers, and you can tell which ones they are, they look like they've been fried a little. They're just like little stick. They kind of remind me of like spaghetti, but not as thick as spaghetti. You can just tell they're a little coarser. And you can take a pair of tweezers and just pull, and they'll pop right out. And they're only about, maybe as the length of them is probably like maybe the width of your fingernail, or maybe 2 or 3 of those widths. Very, very small. A little slow on my metric scale. I would say maybe 2 millimeters if you have a ruler. Maybe 1 to 2 millimeters in length. And they just, like I said, for me, because I shave every day, obviously, full time, don't want whiskers. They don't really have much of a chance, but even the act of shaving can pull them out. And for whatever reason, it's a mystery to me. The hair, it has been zapped. It's not connected. It doesn't have a root, but the damn thing continues to grow. Or maybe it got zapped, and that was the length that it was when it got zapped. And so the root died, and that was just that 2 millimeter length, and it's kind of worked its way up through the dermis and the epidermis, and now it's there and ready to be pulled out. But for me, it's kind of weird because it's like they're still growing. And you're like, okay, you shouldn't be growing. You're zapped. And it's like zombies. They're like, no, I'm still growing. And I almost wonder if maybe as long as, and again, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. The hairs continue to grow after they get zapped. Or they seem like they do. And like I said, that's about half of them. 50% are that way, and then the other half are, very tenacious hares that survived another cycle. They're kind of sticking they stick their heads up and go, I survived. I'm with you for another 90 days, or till the next laser session, or electrolysis section. I am at this point continuing I'm going to do the laser. The package that I got, for those interested, the place that I went to offers a lifetime guarantee, and I jumped on it. And yeah, it was a little pricey. It was a little under 2,000. Okay, it was like 16, 14, 16, something like that. However, it was a lifetime guarantee, and I'm up to 11. I think I've had 11 treatments, something like that. And so, in my mind, it's not a question of laser or electrolysis. It is laser and electrolysis. The laser has gotten rid of the lion's share of the hairs, the dark hairs. And so electrolysis is going to be, to me, electrolysis is like the icing on the cake. It's going to get the individual little tenacious bastards that are just dug in, and they're, you can't get me. But that said, here at session 11, I mean, I had splots. I had little, like I said, the bunkers, bunker busting bunker busting laser got in there and zapped them. Although that was kind of explosive, and it takes my skin. It goes through a cycle of, it's like a really kind of not a bad sunburn, but a sunburn. I guess that's the laser, the radiation, and it takes a good week or 2 weeks for your skin to kind of heal back and say, okay, I forgive you, whatnot. And like I said, for me, laser electrolysis will be the next big. Not yet. I have some other financial things I need to get my house in order. But I did electrolysis back in the day in the 90s, and so I'm very familiar with electrolysis, with laser. And that's the other thing too about this process. I had electrolysis before, and I had my face totally cleared twice, and I still need to do electrolysis. And I've had 11 laser sessions, and I still need to do it. And so I think for someone, and God, I don't know if this for sure, but for someone to say, I'm going to be done with electrolysis, I wish you luck with that. I mean, I hope, I pray there's an end to it, but I'm very suspicious, very suspicious. I think electrolysis is always going to be something we have to do. And real women too, for lack of a better word, pardon me if I didn't offend anybody. Let me rephrase that. Cis girls, they have hairs. So again, I've heard that for a couple times. Well, and at the risk of offending someone, I won't go full time until my electrolysis is done. It's like, sweetie, I hate to break it to you. If your skin is like me, my skin, you're going to be doing electrolysis till you die, but again, I don't know that for a fact, so. And genetics being what it is, our bodies are so very different. That's why some people react very well to certain types of hormones and certain regimens, and some people don't. Some people swear by injections. Some people swear by oral. Some people swear by the dermal patches, which is what I'm doing because I have a fear of needles. But whatever works for you. On that note, again, back to the blog here. About 4 weeks ago, they adjusted my hormones, and as was expected, the insurance company said, no, we're not going to pay for it. That's too much estrogen. You have to go through an appeal process, and apparently somebody dropped the ball. So Somehow I went through 72 patches. I'm down to my last couple boxes, and I'm kind of sitting here going, I usually follow it, and I did my part. I kept on asking, what's going on? What's the holdup? Oh, we faxed your provider, and I called the provider, and I haven't gotten anything, and oh my gosh, it's just, phew. I'd complain, but I mean, I'd be shocked, but this is like, you want to go silly me, the third or fourth time that my hormones have been ratcheted up, and every time it's not medically necessary. Well, so that's something that initially, and I have a couple of YouTube videos where I just lose it and start crying, and it's like, I don't understand why, is estrogen really that bad of a drug? And in some ways it's what you want to say is, can't I'm not making crystal meth with my my estrogen patches. I'm not. And of course you could say, well, Robin, you silly goof, why don't you go to injections? And that's just, I can't take needles. I can't. Anyway, so that's my my little rant about hair bastards and persistence, and yeah, ongoing process. I noticed today, it's amazing to me how much, like, you can see, here's my bald spot. I mean, here's where my hair like receded, and you can see that, you know what I mean? And I didn't do any like hair growth, like Rogaine, or I didn't do any of those kind of drugs. I just grew out my hair to the point that it covers it. It's like a comb over. But it interests me how some days, and we're our harshest critics, but some days I feel like, oh my gosh, I look terrible, and then some days it's like, oh my gosh, I look wonderful. And it just blows my mind how our how cyclic we are, and stereotypically, girl, the stereotypical fiction girl, oh, I feel flighty, I feel so fat, da da da. And is it perception? Is it reality? It just chokes me up. And really, that's just about it that I can think of. Bit of a footnote for history's sake. I did make a video a couple days ago about the military, and our current commander-in-chief, our president of the United States, is definitely not a fan of transgender folks. But I like the fact that the military, his staff and whatnot, has been somewhat saying to the military, look, we need to do our jobs, and there's a lot of issues at home, I think is what General Mattis said. There's a lot of issues at home. People are not being friendly with each other, etc. But that doesn't affect our mission in protecting the United States, and that we have to be a level head. And so I think the military, I think the leaders are kind of saying, look, you can't just discriminate on a whim. And I really do appreciate that. And I'm afraid sometimes when you criticize, I'm going to say criticize the military, and it's not what I'm doing. It's the commander-in-chief. It's a racist bastard giving the orders. But, I definitely am very, very proud of the military members and serving our country and everything. So I'd be tickled pink if my daughter decided to do some time. If she had the courage that I did not. I think I mentioned in my video, I didn't want to go through basic training, and I didn't want someone to tell me what to do, which is a, definitely you follow orders, you do what your commanding officer tells you, etc. So within moral grounds, but, I'm too much of an individual, And really, that's just about it. So I think I'll end the video. I'm not going to post this to Facebook because it's just kind of wonky, but again, hair is just never-ending battle. But ask me that in 2 years, right? And who knows, maybe we'll get to a point where we won't have to mess with it. But I still have the translucent hairs, and that's something that is definitely going to be a battle. You know, laser gets the dark hairs really good, but the translucent hairs, those really stiff, they're still there. And that's why I have to shave every day. Otherwise, I look like, whatnot. All right, my friends, that's it for today. I'm going to stop procrastinating, and good luck. Bye. Till next time.